Chapter 8 Cunning. Sarban closed his eyes and knelt, touching the earth. He could feel movement. There was a great magic drawing essence from the ground at his feet. Town lay not 100 feet on, with the warehouses on the horizon behind him. It was dry dirt and random weed in close environs. There shouldn't be much of any life for him to be sensing at all where he was, and yet he was. Something was drawing what little life energy there was in the earth with a drive he'd never felt. Though this magic could be good, he was convinced this draw had much darker designs. Achelis Mahia! Sarban opened his eyes, taking on enhancements his spell had summoned. The dark of night was now a lighter shade of blue. With his enhanced sight, he could only just identify spears and axes along those outer town walls in the distance. There were a few bows as well. Any proper militia a town could muster would be a lot larger than what he was seeing. He could sense something unseen. There were too few sounds for too few people, and the air smelled of gunpowder. Did they have rifles? Sarban wondered exactly how many of those rifles had bullets anymore. There hadn't been any proper armory or gunsmith in any outlying town for some time by his count. The militia would be a troubling unknown thanks to the gems enough of their number bore, thanks to those blending stones. No mage or wizard was going to see this town's real threat coming. Real numbers were effectively hidden from even enhanced sight. He wasn't getting near that town safely. His senses followed dark magic back to its source. A deep inhale. Sarban followed the magical ties he was feeling back to many sources, and his greater sight found the nests. He picked up what had been described to him as low tents. They were cashier nests. What he could tell were harvested animal skins creased from underneath. Something was moving about below, kicking legs or shifting in their waking moments. Markers and sigil posts were aglow with dark magic only a trained magicker could spot. Upios ki, he whispered, pulling the hood on his cloak up over his head. Thilarioko, he added for good measure. Drawing his sword, he held it low. The fire charm he just placed upon his blade gave it a dull red glow. The sleek black shapes he saw moving about those cashier nests slowed. Algrinai either stared or started his way. It occurred to Sarban that none of them were close to town. Those on patrol were seemingly content to remain around their nests. Some already inside town, he wondered? Attack from within while surrounding without? Nests in the sewers, maybe? Even with his enhanced vision, Starban was alarmed to see the speed of those converging on his position. These sleek Algrinai darting along the ground with long, even strides were small enough to have been foxes at one point. He attacked with a sweeping swing as the first Algrinai drew near enough. The Algrinai evaded the attack easily enough, which he knew it would. His swing hadn't been for damage. The Algrinai lost its timing to lunge with its altered stride. A Starban stepped in and pivoted, swinging again. He severed one leg and turned to block the next attack. Summoning words for a shield, he raised his left arm and clenched his fist. The second Algrinai rebounded to land and twitch, then stepped back in a daze. Knowing what he was dealing with gave Starban an advantage. But 4 Algrinai now circled, and 2 of those were still completely healthy. 3 more were nearly on him. Starban changed his mind. With their small build and pack nature, these had likely one time been coyotes, maybe wild dogs. They were pack animals in the least. Perhaps they simply had a linked mind. Spreading his stance, Starban realized something else. These Algrinai weren't on patrol for the 3 youth. Their position outside of town was too perfectly placed. You're here to keep me from helping. A lunge had Starban turning and slashing out. Sensing the next attacks, he ducked and rolled. Upon coming up, he cut down into the next Algrinai, but those 2 previous lunges stopped short. Another sweeping swing had all Algrinai backed up to circle some more. That made 3 wounded, but 3 more had gathered. What's happening in town to destroy those 3 youth while you detain me here, he wondered. Too many for focused magics, he grumbled with a sneer. Too draining against these numbers. But he had to clear a path for Angelina and the others. Should they make it past the town wall, they'd face the same threat. Maybe he could draw the militia after him as well, to make them clearing the wall that much easier. He focused his thoughts, and the sword grew brighter. Steam wafted from its keen edge. His eyes took on a similar glow. This would be draining this far from the school, but he couldn't think of any other way. Showtime.